Hi everybody, good morning. I hope you are doing well. Today I'm going to talk about a very important topic or skill, which is writing. Writing is one of the main important skill in learning English. And I need you to know from the very beginning that writing is considered to be a productive skill. Productive skill simply learners produce or are asked to produce something, unlike speaking, for example. So, when you ask most of the learners or students about writing, they find it challenging and the most difficult one for them. So, my role as a teacher to try to help them to write in a better way, and let me start by some tips that may help you to write well. Like, for example, let's start from T B L T. TBLT simply it's a method like task based language teaching. So I start from TBLT. Why? Because I need you to know some hints that will guide you to write a paragraph in essay, email, little, whatever, or what kind of writing you need. Let's start by number one. I name it like TB. TB is a task based. You cannot, as I cannot ask suddenly a student to write a paragraph from the outset. So what should I do? It's better to give a learner a task to do first. Read about the topic, and then later I ask the student to write a paragraph, for example. For example, when I need to ask a student to write a paragraph about climate change, he will get or she will get blocked. Why? Because of course a learner at that time will need some resources like the internet, like books or something. So I have to give him like a worksheet, for example, about climate change, and then I ask the learner to read and try to answer the related exercises and doing the related activities. And then step number two, it's better to get my student a model or example of the topic. So I provide a model or an example of the topic. And this is step number two. The example will be helpful, and a learner will depend on the model or on the example and follow the same steps. Also, a learner will depend on my explanation. On the board, on the layout I provide, on the format. And after that, we will move to step number three, which I named it first draft. First draft. So a student is asked to write a draft after reading about the topic and answering the related exercises and activities, and then I provide my learner with a model or an example depending on my explanation in layout and format. I in her correction phase, learners exchange their models, their writings, their paragraphs, their essays, and they started to recorrect depending on my checklist. My checklist, which I provide on the board or in some worksheet. And it's a very important and essential way of learning, because at this time students learn from each other. The last step is called final drafts, and it's called final draft. Then, to sum up what I said, simply TB, I have to provide a task to my students, and then I provide model and example. It's to follow, and then they follow the examples depending or based on my explanation and the layout and the format of any kind of writing. And then I ask my learners to write the first draft, and then I ask my learners in this phase to correct to each other their writings. And as I told you, it's a very helpful way of learning, because the students at that time learn from each other depending in their correction on my checklist, which I provide them with, and the last and the final phase, which is final draft. Then writing skill would be easier for you if you follow my tips. I hope you are fine now and you got new information about how to write well in proper language. Thank you so much.